Hi guys, I hope you are all watching this movie unfold with calm and clarity. Today we are going to talk about the PSYOP dominating the media this week. The Epstein list lost announcement, the confirmation that he offed himself and the bombshell prison video are all pointing to events that have been promised years ago, but we still don't have everything. So let's examine this critical news magnet and see what could really be going on. I did a little checking, and there is so much happening behind the scenes with this video that it can't be ignored, and that's what we're doing now. Tim and I have taken the leap and put money down on a beautiful beach venue for Ex-Pharmacon in Panama City Beach. So if you want to get together for a healing beach retreat next year, save the dates of April 24th, 25th, and 26th next year. It is planned as an interactive awakening and healing event that I promise will lift your spirit and set you on an individualized path of healing. And if you decide to stay longer, Tim and I will be there for a few extra days with you. More information is upcoming over the coming months, and we are very excited about meeting all of you. On May 29, 2025, Kash Patel, in an interview on Fox News, stated that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide, and he promised to release additional information about the case, including surveillance footage. He did not specify a release date, but noted that the process of reviewing years of investigations takes time. Similarly, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, in a separate Fox News interview on May 30, 2025, confirmed that surveillance video from the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York showed no one entered Epstein's cell before his death on August 10, 2019, presumably supporting the suicide ruling. He also promised a forthcoming disclosure of this footage. This morning, July 7, 2025, the Department of Justice released approximately 11 hours of CCTV footage from the Metropolitan Correctional Center, taken on August 9th and 10th, 2019. The media is telling us that the video shows Epstein being led to his cell on the night of August 9th and found unresponsive the next morning. This is total misinformation because Epstein is nowhere in the released video, which is part of a Department of Justice and FBI investigation, which was allegedly confirming the coroner's ruling of suicide by hanging. The footage was made public on the Department of Justice's website, and there will be a link to this prison footage along with other documents in the description of this video. Pam Bondi promised a release of all the evidence a while back, and she oversees the Department of Justice's efforts, which included this release. The talking heads are salivating as they report that Bondi said the Epstein list was on her desk and now it's gone. But we must look deeper. A DOJ memo, first reported by Axios and ABC News on July 7, 2025, stated that an exhaustive review of Epstein-related files found no incriminating client list and no evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. The memo, which was unsigned and undated, did not explicitly say the list was lost, but rather that it did not exist. This conclusion was part of a broader DOJ and FBI statement, released alongside approximately 11 hours of CCTV footage from the Metropolitan Correctional Center, allegedly confirming Epstein's death by suicide, but nothing washes with this release. Let me explain. Today, Caroline Levitt clarified the discrepancy, saying that Bondi was not referring to a specific client list, but rather to the entirety of all the paperwork related to Epstein's crimes. This is exactly what I said on a couple of X posts. It's important to listen to what is said very carefully. Also, never believe anything that you hear, regardless of the source. When I checked the DOJ website for this memo posted by Axios and others, it doesn't exist on the DOJ official website. Then all of a sudden, the alleged memo that Axios published had been completely removed from the article. Many other people subsequently noted that the memo wasn't official and that Axios removed it only after creating a huge stir in the media. So remember that no official announcement that the list is missing or that Epstein killed himself has been made by the DOJ. So Caroline never said she specifically had the list. Dan Bongino said that the surveillance video from the Metropolitan Correctional Center showed no one entered Epstein's cell before his death. And he's correct, but it's not as it seems. The FBI vault does have a lot of documents released on Epstein, and I haven't had time to review them all, but I did find one, which was a bunch of redacted photos, which Levitt said are disgusting pictures of children. The link to the FBI vault is in the description. Now let's look at a little background that you might not have known that may be relevant. On June 27, 2023, the Inspector General Michael E. Horowitz released an executive summary entitled Investigation and Review of the Federal Bureau of Prisons' Custody, Care, and Supervision of Jeffrey Epstein at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York, New York. The report concluded that they found evidence of negligence, misconduct, and performance failures by staff, but that Epstein did commit suicide. One thing to note in this explanation of how the prison screwed up so bad is that they originally stated that video camera on Epstein's cell wasn't working yet. A video has now been released without an official explanation. Many are calling Horowitz a traitor, but let's let this play out and see what you think, because we will come back to him. I always say, look at the common denominator here. If you remember a while back, I did a video on the Diddy case, and I said that I questioned why the case was being brought in the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, SDNY, rather than California or Florida, where most of the freak-offs allegedly occurred. The prosecution team included Assistant U.S. Attorneys Meredith Foster, Emily A. Johnson, Christy Slavic, Madison Reddick Smizer, Mitzi Steiner, and Maureen Ryan Comey, daughter of ex-FBI Director James Comey. The Southern District of New York also prosecuted the former Congressman Anthony Weiner's case, where he pleaded guilty to one count of transferring obscene material to a minor and was sentenced in September 2017 to 21 months in prison. The prosecutors were Assistant U.S. Attorneys Amanda Kramer and Stephanie Lake. You might remember that a very important laptop was seized from Weiner. You see, Weiner was the husband to Uma Abedin, one of Hillary Clinton's closest aides. Abedin shared a computer with her husband, and there was allegedly a file entitled Insurance Policy, which was said to contain really horrible things on it, including the video known as Frazzle Drip. In fact, it has been an ongoing narrative that the agents who viewed the laptop contents got physically ill, and many have since died. This is very difficult to verify, as the FBI doesn't routinely disclose who sees evidence. In any event, it appears that the worst of the worst in evidence is handled by the SDNY. I recognized a common denominator between the Diddy case and the Epstein case, which was also prosecuted in the Southern District of New York. The key prosecutors included Maureen Comey, Allison Moe, and Alex Rossmiller. And even another notable figure was prosecuted in the Southern District of New York, namely Ghislaine Maxwell. The prosecution team included Maureen Comey, Allison Moe, Laura Pomerantz, and Andrew Rohrbach. So Epstein, Maxwell, Diddy, and Weiner were all prosecuted in the Southern District of New York, and Maureen Comey was a prosecutor on 3 of them. Weiner was prosecuted while James Comey was director of the FBI, and his daughter wasn't on that case, but after Comey was fired by President Trump in 2017, his daughter prosecuted all 3 of the other high-profile cases that promised to bring down a lot of heavy hitters. Now wait till you hear this one, guys, and you can go write the video in the description and easily confirm this. The video footage that was released that allegedly proves that nobody accessed the special housing unit has several issues with it. First, Epstein's cell door is nowhere in the video. It is in fact out of the frame around the corner from the door on the left. This hallway is nowhere near his cell. Second, a photo was released showing the layout of the special housing unit where he was, and there was a camera right there, but it was reportedly broken. But that's still not all. There is a missing 60 seconds cut from the video. The timestamp goes from 11 hours, 58 minutes, and 59 seconds p.m. to 12 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds a.m. Try to go to 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 1 second. You can't because it's not there. Also, at timestamp 11 hours, 23 minutes, and 10 seconds, you will notice a menu moves into the frame in the upper right-hand corner that looks like a video editing software. That menu is gone at 12 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second, just after the missing minute. The FBI has had this videotape for years, plus they released it without explanation of the missing minute. Do you really think the FBI didn't notice that missing minute? The video that was turned over by the FBI was clearly altered, so they have them red-handed. And remember that Michael Horowitz oversees the investigation as the Inspector General of the Department of Justice. As you go through the videotape, there are numerous people going in and going out of room 46 at various times. But don't waste your time because the video is the wrong hallway and nowhere near Epstein's cell. That entire video is a red herring. I have posted several photos with comments on the community bulletin board for further examination. As if that wasn't enough, I promised that we'd visit Michael Horowitz again, so here we go. Michael Horowitz was among the very few inspector generals that was spared during a mass firing of at least 12 inspectors general by Trump 4 days into his second term in January 2025. Why did he keep Horowitz? As I said, many believe Horowitz is a traitor because he was appointed by Obama, but we always have to look deeper. Just because he was appointed by Obama doesn't mean he didn't flip. He oversaw the Epstein investigation where Maureen Comey was prosecutor for the infamous Southern District of New York. Now listen to this. We have always known that the Fed or Federal Reserve has to go, and many have tried to eliminate it unsuccessfully. This past week, President Trump has been suggesting that Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, should resign. In return, Powell has said that he won't resign and there would have to be cause and a hearing to remove him. However, Trump chose and appointed Powell in 2018 after the capitulation tour, so it's unclear whether he's culpable or if he has been on the inside of the Fed documenting and creating opportunities since 2018, because last week President Trump appointed no other than Michael Horowitz to fill the Federal Reserve Board's Office of Inspector General position, effective June 30, 2025. Horowitz replaced Mark Bialik, who coincidentally retired in April 2025 after serving in the role for nearly 14 years. This role also includes serving as the Inspector General for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. My thought is that Michael Horowitz is going to play a very important role when the den of thieves go down. Let's wrap this up now with my thoughts on all of this. Pam Bondi promised to release the file, and she has. A link is in the description to all of the declassified Epstein files. Bondi never said she had the widely circulated list. She said the file was on her desk. Now it's being revealed that the file did not contain the infamous list, which tells me that it was removed from the file before being turned over to Bondi. Also, keep in mind that a list was never seized. A flight logbook was, and truthers went through it to create the list. This is the only list that I have seen surface over the years. So even if there never was a list seized under warrants, it is correct to say that there is no list. On top of that, we've got an altered video that was turned over to the DOJ as the only available video. This video has been edited and doesn't even capture Epstein's cell, so it is also accurate to say the videotape showed no one entering Epstein's cell before his death. Please understand that I know from experience that people sit for hours crafting what to say regarding investigations, so these statements have been strategically designed to shut the people up by saying that they are turning the files over, and they are. However, according to Bondi, there are thousands of hours of videotapes that are being reviewed. She reiterated that released documents have been redacted to remove videos and photos of children being trafficked and abused. So they have videos of all kinds of people having sex with minors. Do you really think that these aren't going to be used for a prosecution? Also, after so many years, one of the biggest witnesses against Epstein, Virginia Giuffre, allegedly killed herself, so she is out of the picture or at least protected should a big prosecution come down of some influential people involved with him. Let's add to that the fact that Diddy was convicted of minor crimes but sentencing isn't until October, and the judge refused to let him out on bail, which stinks of further indictments coming for Diddy and/or the people involved. So the Trump administration is trying to convince us that they are going to drain the swamp and be transparent, but there are a million clues that there's a lot still being hidden in spite of this bone that they've thrown us, and no big prosecutions have occurred yet. Personally, I think they are all doing around the same time. The Epstein clients and evidence, along with the Diddy clients and evidence and the Weiner laptop, were all funneled to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, or SDNY. Guess who has oversight authority over that office? The Inspector General of the DOJ, Michael Horowitz. He can investigate misconduct, waste, fraud, or abuse involving personnel, including U.S. attorneys and assistant U.S. attorneys. Now Horowitz is also overseeing and likely auditing the Federal Reserve under the oversight of Pam Bondi. Is this a mistake or a strategic move? You tell me. I can only say this: no investigators could possibly miss the editing in that prison videotape. The statements that have been issued by Bondi, Patel, and Bongino are technically factual, and the media has misinterpreted them. Do you really think that the Trump administration is going to say, okay, the prison was negligent and evidence has been removed and altered, but we can't prosecute anybody? Heck no, they have it all. And now they have their foot in the door at the Fed, and it doesn't matter if Jerome Powell is clean or dirty, because Horowitz is above him. So, personally, I believe this entire exercise has to do with setting the scene for altered and destroyed evidence that is going to finally purge the FBI and DOJ of the usual suspects. Many can go down for crimes against humanity, which are defined under international law as widespread or systematic attacks directed against a civilian population, encompassing acts such as murder, extermination, enslavement, torture, rape, forced displacement, and persecution based on political, racial, national, ethnic, cultural, religious, gender, or other grounds that are universally recognized as impermissible under international law. Crimes against humanity do not need to involve military personnel, nor do they require more than one perpetrator. In child trafficking operations, if the assaults are part of a coordinated policy or pattern by an organization such as a trafficking ring, individual perpetrators, whether organizers, recruiters, or direct abusers, can be held liable if they knowingly contribute to the trafficking. This means that everyone involved in abusing these kids can feasibly be prosecuted for crimes against humanity, which are conducted as military tribunals due to the international component of the crime. This is not over by a long shot, guys, so don't get caught up in the game. Things are rarely as they seem. Until next time, let's look at one lesson in the art of war. A military operation involves deception. Even though you are competent, you are wise to appear incompetent.